the so-called conservative premier here and simply stop being conservative, if that word means anything these days. He's become a bit of a Justin Trudeau, Theresa Tam mini-me, just doing whatever the big government public health bureaucracy tells him to do. And he's getting a really authoritarian tone about him. He denounces pro-freedom protesters. And look at this, also a tweet, because I guess that's how we live these days. Look at what he tweeted on the weekend. Effective immediately. Face coverings are mandatory in all public indoor settings across Ontario. Everyone must follow the public health guidelines if we're going to stop the spread and contain the second wave. So as you might see, that was tweeted on Saturday at 1:15 in the afternoon. So when he said effective immediately, did he mean at 1:15 p.m.? And what did he mean by public indoor settings? Like an office or like a restaurant? Surely there are exemptions like there are for people who have breathing problems or for little children, right? So what age of children, actually, as you may know from our great website, maskexemption.ca, there are different rules in every jurisdiction in Canada, like the age of kids exempt. So what are the rules in Ontario? Well, I noticed that there wasn't any link on his tweet that said, I went to the law in question on the legislature website and I went to the law's regulations and there was nothing there at all. I checked at 4 p.m. on Saturday, 3 hours after his effective immediately tweet. The regulations hadn't been updated for days. So hang on, does a premier tweeting constitute an enforceable law? So nothing debated in the legislature, nothing voted on, nothing that the public has even seen other than a tweet, nothing that the police have, just a short, vague tweet, but one that is effective immediately. If you're a police officer, would you enforce that? And is it the job of police to enforce the mask law at all? Is that a crime or something? Is that something they normally do? Is it the job of a bylaw officer, maybe? Is it the job of a shopkeeper? You in what army, as they say? Finally, today, I see that the website with the regulations has finally been updated, finally caught up, and it has plenty of rules on it. You can see all the shading in gray. I note they have similar exemptions to the City of Toronto's masks bylaw. So you can be exempt if you say you're exempt. And look at this part, you can be exempt for reasons covered by the Human Rights Commission, which includes, it goes against your belief to wear a mask. So if your belief system is against masks, you don't have to wear a mask. And this is the strongest part. I like this about the Toronto bylaw. Quote, for greater certainty, it is not necessary for a person to present evidence to the person responsible for a business or place that they are entitled to any of the exceptions. So you don't have to prove you're exempt to a shopkeeper. In fact, they can't ask you about it. It would be like asking someone in a wheelchair to prove they can't walk. You don't have to do that. But it is still a law, you know. It's a medically baseless law. It's a statistically baseless law. It's a ridiculous showboating law. The pandemic peaked in Canada in mid-April, not in mid-October. It's a law designed to ratchet up fear, to justify ongoing meddling, to make the crisis permanent. That's an excerpt from my daily show, the Ezra Levant Show. Every day I do a monologue on the news of the day, then I interview an interesting guest, and then I read my hate mail. You gotta subscribe. Go to rebelnews.com.